Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Another episode, Eagles Elite Podcast. Except for this week, I can actually talk. Ha! Last couple of weeks been a little tough on your boy, but hey, grinded through it. Got us some good content, so we able to do the thing. Uh, Pretty much what we doing is just making things happen, y'all. That's what we do, Brian. We make things happen. Y'all know what we talking about tonight. We got you the list, right? We're going to go over a preview training camp by different positions. We're going to talk about some other things that are happening within the world of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to talk about that top 10 QB list. And, of course, we're going to hit you with a little breaking news and rumors and good stuff like that, if there's any out there to be had. So, good people, it's time for us to dig into the meat and potatoes of the show. It's time to get things rocking. So it's time to get the squad. Wyatt, what up, man?
What's going on, cool? What's going on, Eagles Nation? You know, football season is right around the corner. We only a week away from training camp. I'm super hyped. I know you're hyped. So I'm ready to get into it, man.
Yes, sir. And we got somebody else on who's very hyped as well. Diva.
What's going on, y'all? We're back for another week.
I know y'all like, I ain't seen these three more photos on the screen together in a minute.
Yeah, we be switching out. You know what I'm talking about?
So we all hit this week. And I did take it 1970s exploitation, Mofolo, up in this piece. But hey, y'all, I'm trying to do things non-emotionally, you know what I'm saying? Keep things moving, keep the schedule right, keep things tight, keep our game on point. And with that being said, we need the pregame hype. Let's go.
The kick is away, and the kick is, it's gone! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
So y'all, you know what it is. It's another week, Eagles Elite. Got a little juiciness with the intro. Get that hypeness going. And in the building, the guy that need to be up on this show with us, Sam, just says, what's up, guys? What's up, Sam?
What's going on, Sam?
What's going on, Sam?
But, so y'all know how we start this off, preseason, postseason, good season, bad season. We always start off one way. News, rumors. Wyatt, anything for us?
Yeah, I mean, the first things I have here, Jalen Carter was named as the only rookie to PFF's PFF 50, top 50 list. It's pretty cool. He came in at number 41. So, I mean, rookies out here making waves already.
I like that.
Yeah,
So you got
the other news. I mean, the other news I have is just the top 10 QB list that we're going to end up getting into eventually, because that's been kind of making its way around, people talking about that. And just kind of some other stuff that we already knew. Lane Johnson kind of went in about Jason Kelce being in the building like more than him pretty much each week. He says he has his own locker with like the coaches, and it's not even with the players anymore. So Jason Kelce is in the building every week. Like, hopefully he can be in the organization at some capacity. I know he has like the Monday Night Football stuff going on, but it'd be cool to have him like as a coach at some point.
Diva, any news or rumors you got for us?
No, I think Wyatt covered it.
All right, for sure. We'll definitely move on, and we'll talk about everything that Wyatt has to bring up. So Wyatt, why don't you talk to the people? Then Diva, after him, why don't you talk to the people? Wyatt, let them know. Talk to them. Top 10 list. Who's on it? And what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so the NFL, ESPN took a poll from NFL executives, coaches, and they ranked the top 10 QBs in the league. Going down from number 10, we have Dak Prescott. We have at number 9, Jared Goff. Aaron Rodgers at number 8. CJ Stroud at number 7, which is crazy. I mean, I know he had a good season, but come on now. Justin Herbert, which is pretty outlandish as well. Matthew Stafford, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen at 3, Burrow at 2, and you have Mahomes, of course, at number 1. He's going to be number 1 regardless. There's definitely some question marks. I mean, you don't have Brock Purdy in there. You don't have our boy Jalen Hurts in there. You don't have Tua in there as well. A lot of bigger names, I would say, that have a lot of talent that were left off the list, and some that are on that list that definitely shouldn't be. Like, my biggest gripe probably is Justin Herbert and also CJ Stroud. I know CJ Stroud had a good season, but come on now, you're going to put him in the top 10 as of right now. Same with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert hasn't done anything in this league. I mean, he had an injury last season that kept him out, but he hasn't really done much other than just put up yards. I wouldn't say he's a top 10 quarterback at all. He's done nothing in the postseason. Same with like some of these other guys as well. I mean, Dak Prescott, he only has like 2 wins in the postseason. Jared Goff, he's on the upswing as of right now, but he had a lot of bad years. I mean, Lions have one really good year this past year. And Aaron Rodgers, he's coming off like an Achilles tear. Like, come on, man. What do you expect from him? I know like the Jets are kind of loaded here and there, but like they're not the end all beat all team that's out there. But I mean, the top 5 other than Stafford makes sense. I mean, those top 4 make sense as far as Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and Lamar. But come on, man, you gotta have Jalen Hurts in there. Like, I don't like Brock Purdy either, but the way he's been playing and what he's been able to do, he definitely deserves to be in the top 10 as well, I would say.
That's some trash. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Joe Burrow should be number 2. I mean, he's had decent seasons, but when it comes to the playoffs, boy goes nowhere. So I really don't think he should have been number 2 at all. Maybe Josh Allen number 2. I could definitely see Lamar Jackson up there. Justin Herbert. I don't even know why he's there. I don't even know why Dak Prescott is even in the top 10, period. So that just goes to show you it's a bunch of trash. And if you're going to put Dak Prescott there, Jalen Hurts should definitely be there because Jalen Hurts has been outstanding besides last year. And even if you look at the numbers, I mean, the numbers didn't even look bad just by looking at the numbers. Looking at the gameplay, it looked a little bad because that's not what we used to. But, yeah, that's trash. It's trash.
100%.
So I want to attack this list. And, you know, some people may not be happy with what I have to say. Not really my problem. But with Dak Prescott is not a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Stop playing. Jared Goff may be around 10, maybe. Aaron Rodgers, give him his body work. Right? CJ Stroud has played 1 year. Justin Herbert, what has he even had a playoff win? No. Why is he? Stafford? Are we serious? So if I look at this, Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, CJ Stroud, and Dak Prescott are not better than, and I'm not just gonna say Jalen Hurts. They're not better than Tua Tagovailoa. They are not better than, even though I don't like him, Brock Purdy, and they're not better than Jalen Hurts, just among other quarterbacks, but just to name 3 that should be on this list.
Mm-hmm.
What you've essentially done, NFL execs and ESPN and all this, is you lit a fire under guys that are not on this top 10 list that feel like they should be. Right? And what's going to happen is a lot of teams are going to have to deal with the extra chip. I mean, let's look at Hurts. We're Eagles, so let's look at Hurts. Hurts had an MVP caliber year if it wasn't for the interceptions and turnovers. If you take his stats, not the way the team finished, but you take his stats, that's an MVP, at least MVP discussion season. Maybe not necessarily win, but in the discussion for the MVP. But too many turnovers. And that's okay. It happens. But we're going to just leave him out of the top 10. We're just going to say he's not even top 10 material, execs and coaches. That's cool, right? This is not a list of people who are being realistic. This is a list of people who have agendas and they want certain guys on this list. If that's the guys that they put on this list. And that's fine. right? I don't have a problem with a gender field list. I love them because it gives everybody a chance to see who the NFL, excuse me, I'm about to say NBA, who the NFL wants to push. And obviously, the 10 guys on this list is who the NFL wants to push. You know, they don't want to push you. Right? Pretty unfortunately, you're in the boat with Tua and Jalen, right? And some others as well. So my issue is, what is the criteria that you're using? Right? Is it
There ain't none.
season? Is it what you do in playoffs? Is it the combination? Is it if we want you and we like you or we don't? What's your criteria?
Right, there ain't no criteria. Looking at that list, where's criteria?
Just popularity contest.
Right.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And hey, that's cool. Feed the beast. Feed the beast. Feed QB1 number one in Philly all you want to. When he comes back to get you, just know you did it to yourself. Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. And anybody who doesn't like that, he's going to show you this year.
Facts.
He's going to set all that stuff up. Pretty and Tua going to show you too. And somebody else going to emerge that y'all sleeping on as well. I'm not even going to say the name yet. But it's at least one more person that's going to emerge that's not on this list that should be. But we're going to get to that in the future. When we talk our actual who we feel is going to be the best quarterbacks going into the next season once we get closer to the season. Then you get a more accurate list. Because this right here, garbage.
Trash.
Trash. Garbage.
Trash, garbage, hot, stinking, filthy. Bile. But hey, that's how I go sometimes. That's how I go. So, first break, we're going to come back. And Bills game. And later on.
There you go, y'all. Taking y'all back. There you go.
It's going to happen. That's all I got for you.
Poppy J.
You got the option to cry for the government. You got the option to protest. You got the option to keep buying. But this is also an option.
Wise El Jefe.
We're the first tech geeks. We're the first gamers. We're the first everything. Everything. Like Gen X's, we are the ones.
BS3 Network proudly presents the crew from the New York boroughs who never wants that smoke. Nah, they want that fire. Poppy J and Wise El Jefe. Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Check your local listings for your viewing and listening pleasure. Whether it's the men's college game,
the way that this season has been going, yeah, anything is possible.
The women's college game,
and how passionate Angel Reese was at that press conference, they got their mojo now.
The WNBA,
AJ Williams stood at 1 and 2, followed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, Jackie Young,
or the NBA.
The Lakers had a 0.8 chance of winning. And then what happened in the fourth quarter? LeBron James by himself outdid the Clippers.
You will get any and all of the information right at your fingertips or your earlobes. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down all things basketball in Shooting Lights Out. On the Playmaker's blog, network, YouTube channel, and where you can find podcasts. Drew Willingham.
In this case, yeah, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me. Text. Delete! 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 Delete!
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels.
All right, good people. So we're back. So we do get to start on the quote unquote good note for games from last season that we're reviewing. We're getting to that point. Y'all know what happened. We know what happened. This will be the beginning of it. Even though it didn't actually happen yet, to me, this was the beginning. Week 11, Buffalo Bills. Game recap. Diva, we will start with you. From the Week 11 game, tell us your thoughts and what you took from that game.
That was the last game before the collapse, and we played like it. I didn't really think we was gonna win that game at first. I mean, it was back and forth, but I can say that was the last game. I think the defense actually really stood up and was man to man and really did what they had to do the whole game, because the offense, of course, was back and forth. A lot of times they couldn't even stay on the field for the first 2 quarters. And then they finally kind of got together the third and fourth quarter. And that's the same thing we had kept seeing multiple games, that the offense could never stay on the field. The defense was the one keeping us in there. But looking at the stats, Allen had 29 for 51 for 339 yards. Jalen Hurts surprisingly only threw the ball 31 times. Maybe it's because we couldn't stay on the field. He was 18 for 31 with 200 yards, but he did have 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. And Allen had 1 interception as well. And for rushing, you had Josh Allen. Of course, he's a big dude, so he had 81 yards, 9 carries, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Swift had 14 carries, 80 yards. Smitty had – where'd Smitty go? Smitty had 7 records, 106 yards, 1 touchdown. A.J. Brown had 5 touches, 37 yards, 1 touchdown. Olamide Zaccheaus had 1 catch, 29 yards, 1 touchdown. So it seemed like all 3 of our wide receivers was in there. Jack Stoll had 1 catch for 14 yards. No Gainwell had 2 catches for 10. Swift had 1 receiving for 4. Defense, like I said, played really well. Byard had a really good game. He had 8 sacks. Morrow had 7. Blankenship had 7. Zach Cunningham had 7. Ellis had 4. Carter had 3. Slay had 3. Bradbury surprisingly had 3. Roby had 3. Tipalua had 2. Hassan Reddick had 2. Brandon Graham had 2. And Joshua had 2. So overall, the defense played really well, as you could see. The offense was lagging, of course. And that's the reason why we went into overtime. But that game was it was a crazy game. I mean, I don't think that if Davis didn't run down Josh Allen the way he did in that last final quarter, we probably would have made it out. But, yeah, I mean, it was a close game. It was 37-34. So.
Your thoughts, Wyatt?
Yeah, I mean, it was a sloppy game. Not just the play on the field, but like the actual conditions as well, because it was pouring the whole time throughout the whole game. So, I mean, it really made everything pretty messy just from both offensive standpoints. Like they weren't getting much going for the most part. The Bills started scoring in the second quarter. The Eagles didn't really start scoring. I mean, they got on the opening drive, they got a touchdown, didn't really do much until the third. And then of course the fourth quarter, they really let it open. And that's when they had to come back, and Jalen Hurts kind of put the team on his back. But because of the messy weather, that's why there was a lot of big plays to be had there. Like the Bills were throwing it across the middle. They were running all over us. Josh Allen was running all over us. I mean, AJ did pretty well. Devontae did really well in this game. I like it just seemed like he kind of drew it up in the huddle, the play where Zaccheaus had the touchdown, where Jalen was just running off to the sideline, just kind of pointing him where to go. And I don't know how he did it, because it was like into double coverage and everything, and he ended up coming down with it. But it was definitely one of the heart attack inducing games that was out there. We knew it was going to come down to the fourth quarter or overtime if it had to come to it, just because of the gauntlet that we were in at that time. But I mean, everything that we talked about through all these games up to this point was right there in this game as well. I mean, you're having bad screens. You're trying to force the QB draws with Jalen. None of that was working. Even though he did look a little healthier in this game compared to some of the other games we talked about, as far as running, it seemed like he did have some of that speed in this game. But I mean, it's just a lot of the same stuff that was probably, through past games that we talked about as far as mistakes go and just not being corrected. But Jake Elliott, I mean, he was the one that ended up sending it to overtime. He's been the MVP of the whole season up to this point.
It's been a lot of atrocious play for the Philadelphia Eagles that we're watching, seeing, and being a part of over the season, right? And we're going back and looking through. I mean, at some point, you have thrown about 18 of 31 for 200 yards, right? You did have 3 touchdowns, but I get the weather, but it didn't seem to affect Josh Allen that much, right? So then you look at running the ball. Swift, 14 carries, 80 yards. Hurts, 14 carries, 65 yards. Don't Gainwell, 2 carries, 26 yards. Boston Scott, 2 carries, 14 yards. So what do we actually do in this game? We had 32 carries, which is good, except for 14 of them were the quarterback. What do we have Swift, Gainwell, and Scott for if we're going to run the ball 14 times with Hurts? It's like, okay, Hurts looked like he may be okay today, so let's just run him in the ground. We don't need him for the rest of the season. Let's just run him in the ground today. We're not worried about what happened the rest of the season. Let's run him in the ground. There was no type of plan and no type of using your backs, right? I mean, we're not fans of Gainwell, but if he's got 2 carries for 26 yards, why he can't have 5 more to not Gainwell, right?
Run the ball was working.
Yeah. Why Boston Scott can't have 10 carries? Why do they have to go to Jalen Hurts? Because the idiotic coach wanted him to be the star of the team. It didn't care if he was hurt, didn't care if he was getting wore down, didn't care that he was taking a lot of hits unnecessarily. Just wanted to be the star of the team. For some reason, Nicholas Sirianni got that in his mind. And you can see throughout this game, as well as others, it kind of was like, well, Jalen, Josh Allen was making plays, so we need Jalen Hurts to make plays. Right? No, we didn't. We needed our defense to continue to play well, which they didn't do across the middle as usual, but we needed them to play decent enough, which eventually they did. When you give up 17 points in the second quarter, there's some things to look into, but give them credit. Philly got that 17 back in the fourth quarter, so they kind of evened it out. But we just have to understand Buffalo showed everybody what to do. People talk about, the 49ers, they broke the Eagles. No, the Eagles were broke in this game. They just got lucky enough to win. Buffalo showed everybody what you needed to do to beat Philadelphia. They just didn't have enough to actually maintain it at the end of the game. They showed everybody. This is the game that I said, let's look it up. And it did. You can't come back all the time. This was a Buffalo team that was 6-5 before this game started. This was not a great Buffalo team. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And still, we can't get out of our own way. Poor coaching. No fire. This is, I think, right around we got a new coordinator. So the defense got confused. It's a lot of foolishness that doesn't happen on a team that's successful. This is honestly the week where I said, not that we hadn't said that before, but I literally said, someone's put it all together. Someone's figured out all the things to do to beat the Eagles. They just choked.
Yeah, if Gabe Davis catches that touchdown, it's over.
Yep.
I think everybody figured us out game one, honestly, because we didn't have no game plan when we lost the coordinator and that crappy defensive coach we had. He still was better than what we had, but still, I think we were figured out game one, honestly. And if you're looking at the total team stats, I'm just looking like, how did we win? Like, they had a total of 505 yards, and we had 378.
Yeah.
They had passing yards 332, and we only had 193. Rushing yards, we had more. They had 173, we had 185, and then yards per play, they had 5.5, and we had 5.8. But when you get down to the first downs, they had 29, we had 24, and third down efficiency, they had 13 to our 4. So, and then they had a total plays of 92, and we had 65. Like, that is horrible.
That's what we did all year, though. Honestly, that's what we did all year. But what I mean when I say they're the ones who broke us is everybody knew what we're doing, but Buffalo put everything together. They had the right defense. They just blew it. They had the right way to play us on special teams. They had the right way to play us from their offense. They did everything better than us, but win the game. And then we turned around the next week, and we knew what happened. But like I said, everybody wants to give a lot of credit to San Fran, and I'm not taking credit where diminishing. You go out there, you win games, and that's what San Francisco did. But what I'm saying is, this is a game that was the model for the rest of the season. This was the one where everybody said, "Oh, okay, Buffalo did this on defense. Buffalo did this on offense. Buffalo played them this way on special teams and shut them down in every facet of the game, but they blew it in the fourth quarter." That's exactly what hurt the Philadelphia Eagles last year. I think a lot of teams were able to figure out certain things, like the offense. That was easy. But when you put so much pressure on the offense, you allow your defense to then be on the field more, which you just eloquently stated in stats. But again, Buffalo couldn't close the deal. But what they did was, we talk about this with lots of teams and seasons. You may have lost the game, but you gave everybody the blueprint on how to beat them.
Yeah.
That's what Buffalo did to us. And I can't stand y'all for it. Snowman says, #Fly Eagles Fly. Snowman checking in from Indy. What up, Snowman? And then Philly says, I'm here. Philly had some weather issues up in Philly, but she was able to slide on in with your boys.
Oh, Philly.
What's going on?
Yes, sir. So yeah, guys, tough loss coming. And to me, this was the loss of everything but the scoreboard. Like, I look at this game and I say, this is a bad game in everything but the score. Like,
yeah, rewatching it, I was wondering, like, how do we end up winning this? I don't. It's crazy.
Everything bad about this game but the score. That's the only thing that was good for us, was the score. You take the score out, this game was horrible for the Eagles. And hey, everybody was ready to say, all right, now we know what to do to these clowns. And that's what they did. And I don't like to say it, but the truth is the truth. So, any final thoughts before we can throw this game in the ocean and never pick it back up?
No, man, that thing gone. Threw that mug months ago. It's gone, bro. You know, little booties you can see, like that mug bobbing in the middle, bro. Look, see it.
I definitely dig it. All right, y'all, we're going to take another break, come back, and we're going to dig into positions. We'll preview for, y'all know what's coming, training camp. Let's get it.
Whether it's news, the largest egg producer finds bird flu in chickens at a Texas plant, weather, devastating tornadoes rip through the heart of the United States, inspiration, a breast cancer survivor completed the journey of chemotherapy, and now begins a future one of matrimony or sports. Michael Jordan is shown on a photo with Diddy. LeBron James has a video extolling the virtues of a Diddy party. This has been yet another Beating a Dead Horse presentation. We got you covered. BS3 Network proudly presents The Morning Shift with Cole Johnson, live every weekday morning beginning April 29th at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central. Oh, yes. The tradition, the pageantry, the spectacle, the history, the slut. Wait. I gotta rep my brother's stuff right. All my DMV soldiers, stand up! And welcome to the Commander's Gridiron Report. You want your commanders to be repped right? Well, D. Willie is your man. Commander's Gridiron Report. Every Tuesday at 11:05 a.m. Eastern, 10:05 a.m. Central. On the Sotoba Media YouTube channel. Music by J. Cool.
Where my soldiers? Right side. Commanders. Where my soldiers? Left side.
Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted to go through against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA Knight. Oh, okay, nigga. LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
All right. Back in the building. And y'all know what time it is. It's time to break down these positions, right? We got training camp coming. We talked about a lot of positions, but hey, this is a good opportunity to talk about them again. So the first one I would love to talk about, offensive line, right? We know we've got a solid offensive line for the most part, but we do have two questions this year, right? We got Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson. Those are guys that are going to do what they need to do. Now, the two questions is right tackle and center. So we believe that Cam Jurgens can step in and play that center position that he normally plays well. And I said tackle, I meant right guard. Excuse me, y'all. And Tyler Steen so far is number one on the chart. But Matt Hennessy and Mekhi Becton, if Steen falters, they're there to give him a difficult run to try to get that position. So I guess my question is for you guys, do we think that we're going to be good with the five that we anticipate going into three that we know Cam Jurgens at center and then Tyler Steen at right guard? Is that the five who's going to be the best five that we have for this year on the offensive line?
I think my only worry with Jurgens is injuries because he was injured a lot last year. I think that's my main worry about him. I feel like Tyler Steen possibly could be. I mean, from what we've seen, from the times that he was playing, he played really, really well, which we didn't see a lot of the players we should have saw last year and their capabilities. But I think that, he will be good. And if not, I mean, you got Mekhi Becton and then you got Hennessy. But my main thing is just Cam Jurgens and the injuries with him.
I definitely see you. Why would you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main concern with Jurgens is the injury history. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of video on him, just like on Twitter, a lot of people reposting stuff. And like he moves a lot like Kelsey. I mean, you see that like with him going whenever you have the running back, splitting the lanes and he's following them or leading them. It looks a lot like Kelsey does. And I mean, Kelsey handpicked him for a reason. So, I mean, I have a lot of confidence in him starting and he's going to be that center for us for the future. It's just a matter of if he can stay healthy. Steen, we didn't see much of him last year when we probably should have, but the the times we did see him, he actually did look pretty good. They did compare him a lot to Brandon Brooks. I'm pretty sure that's who they were comparing him to. This all during the like little training camp that we had, I believe. Apparently he looks in great shape. His conditioning has been really good. So hopefully he can come in and take that spot. But we do have Matt Hennessy there. I believe we have a lot of really good depth on this offensive line. That's just, an offensive line is something we've always looked at for years and years. They've always wanted to have a good offensive line, and being able to take care of that before you even head into the main rebuild that we had, that's great to have. And to having this dominant on offensive line with Saquon Barkley behind it too, it's going to be dangerous.
I'm trying to get that Tom Brady line.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need. Stop having Jalen run. Use your running backs.
Tom Brady refs. That's what we need.
I don't know if we can do that. The Pat Mahomes refs.
5-7 minute in the pocket protection. You ain't getting close to the quarterback. You hear me?
But it's going to be interesting. I believe we do have that, though.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll move to quarterback position. We know who QB1 is. We know who QB2 is right now. We know McKee's 3. They're not going to keep more than 3, and probably one of those is going to be emergency. Do you believe that by week 10, after the trade deadline has come and gone, Kenny Pickett is still going to be a Philadelphia Eagle?
I think it depends on who is hurt at that time leading up to the trade deadline, as far as like around the league, like as far as injuries go. Because if there is a team that doesn't have like a certified franchise quarterback and they have somebody get hurt, they can easily just go out there and trade for him. Because I think Kenny Pickett does have potential. He's had some wins in the NFL. The Steelers just weren't entirely sold on him, especially like bringing Russell Wilson and kind of soured him a little bit. I've been on the train all along that we were going to kind of use him as trade bait. So by the trade deadline, I definitely think there's a possibility of him being gone. I think it's a higher possibility than not.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Wyatt on that. I don't know if he will be there. I think we do need a good backup just in case Jalen Hurts does get hurt. And I feel like with Kenny Pickett, when he was with Pittsburgh, they had nobody. Like, who did they have for him to really throw the ball to? Like, they were just garbage by then. So he really didn't have a team around him. I think he could be a decent backup. I still like Tanner McKee. But yeah, he could possibly be trade bait.
I think it's a very high probability that he's not with us, to the point of I don't think he's going to be still with the team by week 10. I think he is going to be moved. That was a smart, intelligent decision to bring him in because you can move him. And then by moving him, you can gain an asset, probably a later round draft pick that Howie will trade 15 times before it gets used. But I think he will be. I think he was brought in essentially for this because I think McKee, they have enough confidence in him if something were to happen. But he is an insurance policy. Let's say Jalen Hurts is the quarterback that gets injured and hasn't missed time. Then I think he still ends up an Eagle. But if Jalen stays healthy, which we're hoping happens, I believe he's brought in to be traded. And I believe they will use that and, get an asset for it. Just, personal opinion, no guarantees, but my opinion. Running back. We know who the top 3 running backs are. We know who they are. Let's say, sake of argument, Philadelphia Eagles decide to keep 4 running backs, which I think would be very ostentatious, to say the least. So we know Saquon's going to make the team. They have Kenneth Gainwell has some type of secret video or audio on the team, so he's going to be on the team. Will Shipley is going to be on the team. So based on what we have now, do you think we would keep Tyron Davis-Price, Kendall Milton, Lou Nicholson, pick somebody else up maybe after cuts, or just roll with 3 and see what we can get on the open market and maybe use maybe a running back like a wide receiver like Adias Smith as somebody who can play some snaps at running back. What do you guys think we'll do for a possible fourth? Will we keep one, or will we maybe have some versatile guys from other positions that could be that if needed?
I mean, we had what, 4 last year? So I could see us maybe keeping 4. I think you definitely need to have a backup just in case Saquon gets hurt, because I mean, let's face it, he is injury prone, but he was with the Giants on that crappy field. So, but you still just never know. But I mean, I think it would be smart to keep 4. But if not, I mean, I feel like the 2 we got, because I don't count Gainwell. I'm sorry, I don't count him at all. Will be a good duo. But I feel like you need to have an extra, unless you keep somebody on the practice squad that you could pull off in case somebody get injured like Saquon or Will Shipley. I mean, you just never know injuries and how that goes. So I think it would be smart to keep 4 personally. I mean, we did last year.
Now, is Lou Nichols the bowling ball of feet we were talking about before, Cool?
I don't think that's him. I think that's Davis Price.
Davis Price.
And it might be Lou Nichols. He might be big too.
Whoever the bowling ball of feet is the one that we need to be keeping on the roster.
I mean,
I like Will Shipley. I mean, Kenny Gainwell is Kenny Gainwell, but you need to have a bigger dude that can follow with Saquon as well, that you can kind of throw out there. You don't need to have him out there all the time, just certain situations. But you know how it is. I mean, as far as using like an Nia Smith as like a kind of like a gadget type player, like how like Debo is used sometimes. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on Kellen Moore's like scheme. I know they want to use a lot of motion and different things, so it's a possibility. I would actually like to see some more stuff like that. That way, it's kind of a little bit more creativity. You know, we're not used to creativity, especially after this past season. It's going to be a breath of fresh air to see exactly what they come up with here, and that would be a pretty cool opportunity to use somebody like that. I don't know if they will carry 4 running backs though. I think they'll just have the 3 and then somebody else on the practice squad.
Yeah, I personally think we're going to keep 3, and then have probably Davis Price, and possibly Nichols and Kendall Milton, or 2 of those 3 on the practice squad. I think it would be wise to have the big back. If we do have that, I think it's going to be somebody that we get off of, somebody get cut, maybe an older guy still has a couple of years left or something like that, a bigger body that they can get at a discounted price. But I think unless that happens, we're probably going to roll with 3, because I'm looking at this that we didn't keep enough match. I definitely think the next one is where we will see a bit more, some more spots than we did last year. That's wide receiver. So I think in wide receiver, we know 3 guys who are for certain going to make this. It's AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Paris Campbell. Unless some type of bad injury, I don't hope anyone happens, those 3 guys will be on the team. Now we've got Johnny Wilson, Jacob Harris, Nia Smith, Joseph Nagata, John Ross, Britton Covey. I think 3 of those guys make the team between those 6 guys. Maybe 4 if one of them is Nia Smith, who can kind of do both. And what I would like to see both of the Smith boys at different times, of course, doing ends around, maybe taking a quick pitch, like they're going to motion, take a quick pitch and go up the middle, get a few yards, just surprising type things. Not something that you would do every game, but just, different things that you can put in play for them as well. But I think that may be why, in my mind, we may keep 3 to 4 wide receivers, because we have a couple of guys. One of them could be Britton Covey, another guy who can run the ball, probably better than catch the ball, in my opinion, but that's a different story. But we have some guys who can have a little versatility. But of those 6, what 3, and then maybe bubble guy, if they keep a 4th, a set wide receiver, do you think we would keep?
Well, we already know we're going to keep. I mean, the first three that you said are going to start: Smith, AJ Brown, and Campbell.
So it's just 4 of the other 6.
So I think they're probably going to give the Ricky Wilson a try. I wouldn't mind Anaya Smith being on there. Brent Covey, in my opinion, just needs to stay on special teams. I don't think he needs to be on the team.
Yeah.
He definitely needs to be in their wide receiver spot for sure. So hopefully that will remove him from that, or they will remove him from that. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
So the
I mean,
other 4, between Johnny Wilson, Jacob Harris, Anaya Smith, Britton Covey, John Ross, Joseph Nagata, what 4 do you think? What 3 to possibly 4 do you think we should keep?
Johnny Wilson, I definitely like, how tall he is, how like his speed and everything. Anaya Smith definitely needs to be on the roster. I think Joseph Nagata is going to be on here just because it seems like we've been trying to keep him around for a while. It definitely seems like they see something in him. But speaking on Johnny Wilson, because of his size and how tall he is and everything, it'd be interesting to see if they possibly try to insert him as like a pseudo tight end at some points, just because of his size compared to everybody else that would be on like the wide receiver roster. That way you can possibly maybe transfer him to a tight end position a little bit. And that way you have an extra tight end and then you can bring an extra wide receiver on if you need to. I mean, I'm still all in like maybe possibly going out and get a veteran. I feel like we are lacking a veteran in the wide receiver room, other than obviously like AJ Brown and Devontae that have been here for a little while. But like last year we had Julio. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring somebody in like that. Not saying Julio, but somebody like that. But I mean, Joseph Nagata, Nye Smith, Johnny Wilson. If they had to bring somebody else, I think it's going to be Britton Covey, just because of how they've been using him and it seems like he's kind of made his name around the building a little bit. They really like him. So I hate to say it, I wouldn't necessarily go with Britton Covey, but I think that's exactly what they're going to do.
I think they're going to go Johnny Wilson, Jacob Harris, and Nia Smith. And if they do keep a 4th backup receiver, I think they're going to go John Ross. And I'll tell you why I think they're going to go John Ross. Veteran can catch fast. So him and Nia Smith are guys that can also play on special teams. So that you don't need a guy like Britton Covey who can't even freaking catch. And all he's really good for is, I mean, seriously, like when you're building a team to try to win, you have to have guys that have versatility. You can keep 6 to 7 receivers if 2 of those receivers can be your main kick and punt returners. So that's why I think John Ross has value and Anaya Smith has extra value, right? Because he can be a running back, he can return kicks. You know, John Ross, he can play some wide receiver. He's a veteran. He has a couple years out of the league, but he's a veteran. And he can return kicks as well. He has speed. So I think those are things that may help guys like that stick around. I think Jacob Harris has the inside track because as of right now, he's on that second line. So unless he loses that, I think he has a good shot to make the team. Joseph Nagata, he's definitely been around, but he's only never been on the practice squad. He's never really even been elevated to the active roster. So that's why I say maybe not him as much. But Britton Covey is the one that I've shuddered to think that they may actually end up keeping. But John Ross to me would be a better fit, more speed, veteran presence, and he's hungry. And he has versatility. Tight end, guys, tight end. So, of course, we got Dallas Goedert, CJ Uzoma, and Albert O. Also behind them, EJ Jenkins and McAllen Castles. I don't think we keep more than 3 tight ends. I don't see us having the ability because, again, I think we need to load up on the wide receiver position. Some versatile guys, maybe keep 4 running backs. So I don't see a way that we keep more than 3 tight ends. So I'm going to go with my 3 being Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcaterra, and CJ Uzoma. I think Alberto will end up on the practice squad or maybe outright cut because I just don't think this guy has it.
Who was the leader, the conductor of the hate train for Alberto ever since we got him.
And he's
the man.
I mean, I agree with you though. Those are the 3 that I think they're going to go with though too.
What do they do?
Yeah, I think those are going to be definitely the three. I don't see Albert O. I don't even know how he made it this long on the team, honestly. Um, I'm worried about Calcaterra because he's always hurt too with the concussions. But
Yeah.
I mean, like Wyatt was saying, maybe you can make Johnny Wilson into, a tight end. He played tight end spot here and there because we know Dallas Goedert stays hurt, so you still have to do something with your tight end position, and you really gonna have no tight ends out there.
Yeah. And we drafted Castles, and doesn't he have an injury history too, like a concussion history or something?
Yeah, he has to. We have to. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he does.
Tight end.
Does have his injury history. I think Ozoma's going to end up being a big pickup for us. Calcaterra is going to definitely miss some time injured. Unfortunately, I think we will see Alberto at some point due to injury. Dallas, I would, if I can get a year of Dallas playing 14 games, I'm happy. Right? If he just misses, like maybe
actually utilizing him.
Yeah, and then actually use them in the game plan would be wise as well. But hey, that was on coaching, and some of that was also on the quarterback. All right, to the defense. Left corner, right corner, nickel corner. I'm putting them all together. So we got Darius Slay, Keely Ringo, Eli Ricks, Josh Jobe. We also have Isaiah Rodgers, Quinion Mitchell, James Bradbury, Zach McPherson. Then we have Avonte Maddox, Cooper DeJean, Tyler Hall, Mario Goodrich. I say we're probably going to keep 6 corners. Would be my guess. So I'm going to go Darius Slay, Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers, Quinion Mitchell, Avonte Maddox, Cooper DeJean. That's what I'm going to go with my 6. If they keep a 7th, it'll be a battle between Eli Ricks and James Bradbury. And to me, the reason it would be a battle is because of Bradbury's contract. Wasn't for that, I don't even think it would be a battle. That's where I'm gonna go with.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bradbury should have been gone, especially after June.
It's the contract.
And I know, and I hope they regret that. But of course, I would take Eli Ricks over Bradbury any day. Period.
Twice on Thursday.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Bradbury's going to be on the team come the start of the season. That's just me, though. One way or another. I think they're going to find a way to get rid of him.
I think they're trying to hold on to him and trade him and get some value back instead of just having a whole contract.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did see like a rumor about like Jacksonville could possibly be interested because one of their corners just went down during practice.
There you go. That's all Philly waits for. Philly waits for somebody to get hurt to be like,
hey, we got some.
Hey.
Got Kenny Pickett. We got James Bradbury.
We hope we get value. I don't know if we're gonna get value for his sign because now they're saying the Jets don't want to pay him. So
hey, I ain't worried about his sign. He gonna holler.
He last time I saw him, he was in Japan living it up there.
Yeah, if they're not going to pay him, then we're not going to get what we're supposed to get though, because he was supposed to get at least 10 sacks.
That's okay. We just get one round less. That's it. It's no big deal.
Get like a third instead of a second, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's no big deal. How ain't gonna do nothing but trade the third for a second in 2029 anyway? So yeah, I'm saying.
Mess around and come back to Philly after sitting out.
Oh man. Yeah, so
CJGJ.
Right. Of CJGJ. Let's go to safety. So it's safety. I'm gonna lump these together as well. I think we're gonna keep 46. So we got CJGJ, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, Mekhi Gardner, Andre Sam, and Tristan McCollum. Wyatt, what 40 you think we're going to keep?
just because we don't, I know how the depth chart is here, but you can also throw Cooper DeJean in there, right? As far as being a safety.
Well, I'm putting him
Kinda
as
flip-
a cornerback that
Yeah,
has
they have him as a
versatility.
corner, but that's like the versatility
don't
type
think
thing,
he's
though,
gonna-
too.
Right, but I wouldn't put him as a safety because he'll be kept as a corner.
Okay.
Just like
Yeah, I mean-
like we'll keep CJGJ as a safety, but he could play some nickel corner.
Nickel, yeah. Yeah, I mean, 100% CJGJ, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown. Yeah, I mean, you would have to go with Mekhi Gardner there.
Yeah,
That's fine. I mean, you do have Andre Sam, but yeah, you would have to go with those 4.
And then, like, if you have to only keep 3 or City's not ready, you got DeJean that can do that as well. But I think,
swap in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely keep your strongest players, and those are the strongest ones. And then, they have, of course, CJGJ has versatility where he can play nickel or safety. So, of course, and then Reed Blankenship as well. So, and of course, he's our hard hitter. So, yeah.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna do linebackers separately. So we're gonna do the edge rush linebackers, and then we'll do the interior linebackers because they're kind of playing the same but different positions in some cases. So for edges, Bryce Huff, Brandon Graham, Jalen Hunt, Julian Aquara, Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith Jr., Patrick Johnson, Teron Jackson, and Terrell Lewis. I think on the outside, we'll probably keep 5 pass rushers, maybe?
Yeah.
I would say probably 5 on the outside,
5 or 6,
and probably 5 on the inside.
So it would be Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, Brandon Graham, and Jalen Hunt. Is that?
Yeah, I'll probably go. Yeah. And I'll probably go Jalen Hunt for my 5th too. Yeah.
Because he is the project. You're going to want to get him in there every so often. Get him some time.
And then he's a guy that you could pull back and forth if you needed to have him on the practice squad one week, right? You could kind of have him back and forth if you needed to do so. Or if someone's injured and you need someone else to come in, then he's a guy that you could, I think, have be back up. All right. You in agreement, Diva?
100.
All right. So we'll go to inside linebacker. So we'll do Will and Mike together. So I think we'll keep 5 of these guys. So I think for one time, instead of keeping like 4 linebackers because we're using more, I think we're going to keep like 10 altogether. Now, granted, they may play back and forth, 1 or 2 of them on practice squad, active 1 week, practice squad 1 week, but I think we'll keep 5 theoretically. So Zach Bond, Nakobe Dean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Devin White, Oren Burks, Ben Van Summeren, Brandon Smith.
What about you too, Ben? Okay.
I'm gonna go Zach Bond, Devin White, Nakobe Dean, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., and Oren Burks. As of now, of course, training camp number may change that, but that's what I'm gonna go as of now.
Yeah, I agree. Like just training camp pending, like depending on like what Ben Van Summeren can do, and exactly what we can see Jeremiah or Trotter doing in training camp as well, and even Oren Burks. I mean, some of these guys we brought in as free agents they could possibly slide as well, but I would go with the same guys you went with.
Yeah.
All right, then we got defensive end, nose tackle, and defensive tackle. Is we're gonna keep 6, just because we're keeping the 10, basically linebackers between the pass rushers and the interior linebackers. And these numbers might be a little bigger than what we can actually keep, but so Milton Williams and Ojomo at end, as well as Gabe Hall, Jordan Davis and PJ Mustipher at nose tackle, Jalen Carter, Marlon Tupaluto, and Thomas Booker IV at defensive tackle. I always want to say Booker T when I see his name. I have to stop myself all the time, y'all. I say Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Ajomo Mustapher, and probably Tupeludo would be the ones.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Charleston Hall, and maybe one of those guys would be. I think that would be the 6th. I think some of our numbers may be a little bloated from what we can actually keep, but you know, it still camp.
Yeah,
Still
see how
camp.
Gabe Hall looks in camp since he's a rookie.
Yeah. And some of these guys may end up on the practice squad and then, you know, get elevated for certain games and things of that nature as well. Special teams, all we really need to talk about is punt return and kick return. I don't think Brenton Covey is going to make this team. So I think we're going to see Cooper DeJean, Isaiah Rodgers, and Anaya Smith as the punt returners, Isaiah Rodgers, Will Shipley, and Anaya Smith as the kick returners.
And they're going to have Isaiah Rodgers out here returning kicks?
Right.
Something they can do.
That'd be crazy.
So you got to realize, like, with the kick returners, I mean, you could just do it like once or twice a game, right? Especially punt returns, because hopefully we ain't doing a lot of punts.
Yeah.
So,
well, that dude been sitting a year. He's amped. He's ready to go. He's been sitting a whole year. He's ready to go.
Stretch his legs out there. You know what I'm saying?
I'd rather have Brenton Covey take that injury if it need be. I'm just saying.
If you're going to team Covey injury, then you're taking up a roster spot just for somebody to do punt and kick returns. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we got to take a player away from another position just for a dude that can't catch the ball. So that's why I don't think Brenton Covey's going to even make the team. I mean, I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's better than any of the guys that we've been talking about as far as catching the ball.
Oh, I don't think so either.
No,
so my thing is, if you can catch those dudes, why even have you on the team? Like, that's the kind of crap that Nick Sirianni allowed. Like, dudes that can't even really do what you need them to do, just sitting on the team, taking up spots, and you got better players sit on the practice squad or leaving because you don't want to get them a shot.
I mean, so what is Gainwell still doing here then? I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
I don't want Gainwell here either, but I would rather have just Gainwell than have Gainwell and Brenton Covey. If you had to give me one of those dudes to get rid of, I will keep Gainwell over Brenton Covey 10 times out of 10. Because at least he can run the ball. Not very well, but he can run the ball. He can make a play every once in a while. Brenton Covey ain't doing jack crap, but taking up a roster spot. And maybe running the ball back every once in a while if it bounces in his hands because he can't catch. He can run, but he can't catch.
Yeah, he can run.
Maybe he would be better at running back because he can run. Can't catch.
We'll switch him out.
Yeah, let's see what he could do.
I want to see Gainwell. I'm telling you. I want to see no Gainwell.
If I had to choose, I'd choose that way. All right, good people. So we're going to hit y'all with the last commercial. We'll come back. We're going to talk about the slobber knocker that crushed the soul of a lot of Eagles fans. They didn't see it coming. But hey, you gotta recognize what happened so you can move forward.
We did recognize when it happened.
Yeah. You better recognize it again in the next couple of weeks. All right, good people. Let's get it.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. You kids from the block. New edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze car.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crown they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As he takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live. every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, No, Pacific Time Zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Oh, I'm sorry. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel. Join Ryan McCarthy.
I became a Jets fan because Kermit the Frog was my favorite Muppet because he was green, and the Jets wore green. That's how I became a Jets fan.
And Dustin Henry.
ESPN is cashing all in on let's pay a few personalities and we'll just kind of fill in the gaps.
As they walk you through all of the world of sports from their perspective.
The Albany Empire, it's a literal circus.
No credentials required. Where, Ryan, say the tag.
Where you don't need a press pass to talk sports.
Live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on YouTube and where you can find podcasts.
All right, good people. It looks like we came to bring the pain. Whether we wanted to or not, we came to bring the pain. We're at the point. Week 12 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. And I want to say, the main thing I got to say about this game is we talked on this show. We ran it, we raved, we got ticked. Everybody was like, oh, but we're still winning games. Y'all need to relax. You know, win is a win. It doesn't have to always be pretty. This is a game that I'm going to tell you. I circled on the schedule before the season. We're not going to beat San Francisco. It's San Francisco Super Bowl. Because they believe the year before, they would have annihilated us had they had their full team. I don't believe that for a second. But they do. So we go out, beginning of this game. We get opportunities to score touchdowns. We come away with field goals. I'm sitting here watching this game like, yeah, this is about to go just ugly like I thought it was. We stopped them from scoring in the first quarter, and we only put up 6 points. Right? So now they come out the second quarter, and what do? They trick Williams us. Third quarter, they trick Williams us. The fourth quarter, they trick Williams us. What do? We had a defensive touchdown. You have to come out and you have to be ready to play. Primetime games where people are looking at you saying, we trying to make things happen. These are the games that you got to come out and make something happen. Guess who did not do that? Philadelphia Eagles did not do that. And it was a whooping. And excuse me, this wasn't the game. I'm thinking about a different loss. This game, we got one touchdown from Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith, and he ran one in. It was another game where we actually had a defensive touchdown. Very disappointing, embarrassing. I said after the game, and looking back on it, I can think about it a little bit more. I feel like they forgot we had a game. Like I genuinely feel like Philadelphia forgot we had a game. Like they just woke up today and thought we was on bye. And then they was like, oh, you got to go play. And was like, what? I mean, that's what this game looked like from the beginning. Field goal. Are we serious? That's how we're going to go out and try to win and try to make ourselves look strong, try to get up on a team that we know is coming for blood. That's how we roll. Defense, exploited. They used and abused us in the middle and over-pursuing on the corners when they throw balls into the flats. They knew exactly what we did bad, and that's where they attacked us over and over and over and over and over and over again. No adjustments were made, over and over and over and over again. Halftime came and went over and over and over again. So they dominated every facet of the game. And for that week, they made us look like the Cowboys when the Cowboys played. I hate to say it, truth is the truth. Any thoughts you guys have?
It was terrible, man. They made Brock Purdy out here looking like Tom Brady. 1927 for 314 yards and 4 touchdowns. Outrageous. Our lead rusher was Jalen Hurts. He had 7 carries for 20 yards just because like how behind we were the whole game. You can't even afford to run the ball. But even so, like those first couple drives, we weren't running the ball nearly enough as it was to begin with. I mean, DeAndre Swift had 6 carries for 13 yards. Even Kenny Gainwell had a couple carries. But you should have been running the ball from the start. I mean, we've talked about that the whole season up to this point. You're barely utilizing the run. You're only going for a passing game that's just not working. You can't scheme guys open to save your life. And more, relevant in this game than any other game is you have no answer for the blitz. You didn't do anything. There was no adjustments throughout the rest of the game because Jalen Hurts just kept getting hit and getting hit and getting hit. The same way they were abusing us on defense, they were abusing us on offense. Like everything went wrong in this game, and we saw it coming. We just based off those first, 11 weeks, 12 weeks leading up to this game, and especially the gauntlet we were going through. I know we kind of felt a little cocky coming off like a Chiefs and a Miami win and the Bills win, but like coming into this, we know it was going to be their Super Bowl. It was all just, geared up for tragedy at that point.
I mean, all I got to say is that's what happens when you don't watch film. That's what happens when the other team watches film from the last year and then watches film from this year. And that's what happens when you have absolutely no game plan. And when you're dumb and you don't know how to come up with a game plan against an elite team as the 49ers when they were out for blood from the year before. So I stopped watching the game. So I that's not a game I even went back to go look at. I didn't go review it, no nothing. I turned it off and that was it. Because I was not about to have a heart attack. I knew once I seen that one dumb look from Sirianni, oh, that's it. Like he don't know nothing. He don't got no plan. He can't go in there and adjust because he don't know nothing. He don't even know what he's looking at on the field. Okay. And that's when I think we switched our defensive coordinator. Matt Patricia didn't have no game plan. Nobody had a game plan. And that is what happens when you don't watch film and the team you're playing watches and studies you from the year before last and this year to see where they could break you down. And they figured out every nook and cranny that they could break us down. And that's what they went out there and did. And they annihilated us. And that was it.
And they also called Buffalo and watched their film from the Buffalo game too.
That's what I'm saying. That's when you watch film. When you watch film from the last year and then all the way up until we played them, I guarantee you they watched every single game and knew Nick Sirianni was dumb and didn't know how to call plays and only knew X's and O's. And they exploited us like every nook and cranny. Just that's what it was.
Yeah, there was no preparation.
None. When you can't even go in the locker room and adjust because you don't even know what you're looking at when your team is on the field, defense or offense, then you know you're in trouble. He probably was in there giving him a pep talk instead of trying to look and figure out how he's supposed to adjust because he didn't know how to adjust. And we know Brian didn't. Even if Brian told him how to adjust, he was going to do what he wanted to do anyway.
He told him they just need to be 1% better than they were in the first half.
And they weren't even 1% better in the first half, so I don't even know what he was talking about, but okay. Whatever you say, dude.
That seems to be his go-to. I'll just be 1% better.
And you saw in the press conference, he was mumbling, jumbling, and couldn't answer nothing because he didn't know how to answer it because he didn't know nothing.
Let me ask y'all a question, a serious question. Y'all think Sirianni was on drugs or alcohol last year hard? Y'all think maybe that was a problem?
He could have been on some drugs, man.
I think the problem was he just had too much control.
I mean, he definitely had too much control.
He's definitely not as smart as how he believes that he is, or the organization thought he was.
That pride high. Like, look what we did last year when it wasn't even him; it was his coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was really on that pride high. Like, basically that's what he said at the beginning of the year. You know what I'm saying? So he was just really prideful and thought he couldn't be brought down and got brought down to the ground.
The audacity to think that you cannot change anything and get away with it is outrageous to me. He had to have been on one.
Doing last year, so
he had to have been on one. Just some of these interviews that he has, I believe that he is easily this dude on cloud 9 sometimes.
Man, maybe he was on
That's what
some
I'm
of
thinking.
that.
Like, maybe he was drunk or on something else. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think they test the coaches, just the players. Because some of that stuff he was saying, some of the stuff they was doing, it's like, ain't no sane person that ain't inebriated gonna do this. So
You know that sugar booger don't be in your system long. So
yeah, maybe been hanging out with Tony Khan
or Michael Irvin
at the same time. Just a thought.
Yeah, he was on something.
Yeah,
he wasn't in his right mind the whole season. Because if you think you cannot adjust, and you think you can't, and you say you don't change nothing from last year, but you're not even doing what you were doing last year, so that don't even make sense to what you were saying.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Any other thoughts? Anything else you guys want to get out here before we wrap things up?
No more thoughts on that game.
Any thoughts on anything Eagles related before we?
I'm excited for training camp.
Yeah, I'm excited for training camp. I'm excited that it is about to be August. That means we have preseason coming up, and then after that, September, and it is welcome back Eagles season.
And we will be doing some pregame shows, y'all, this year as well. We definitely will be doing some pregames. You know, the thing is, man, all I really want to say is you can make all the lists you want. You can talk all the talk you want. You can hear all you want. But Macho Man says it best.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
And that's what's going to happen as the season progresses. And also, when I'm sitting there and I read that ESPN top 10 list, you know, the first thing I thought was,
tell me he didn't just say that.
and you know what? That's going to be all good. We're going to have guests on for most of the games this year, y'all. So you'll get some perspectives from the other team. You know, starting with Green Bay. I've already secured one, looking at securing a second Packer, you know, to come on because I feel like they need backup when they come into the Eagles den. So I'm trying to help them out, give them a couple people, you know, for that. So we definitely got the Commanders line, got people for the Packers working on some of the other games. If you're watching, you're a fan of the team the Philadelphia Eagles play this year, get at me on Facebook, get at me on Twitter, get at me on, formerly Twitter, now X, you know, wherever, message me. See what we work out. But, you know, hashtag be elite, hashtag fly Eagles fly. Never forget, tell 4 of your friends and 4 people you may not be so fond of. Just because y'all don't like each other doesn't mean they won't like us. And it's never where you start. It's always where you finish. And with that, good people, we are out. We'll be back next week. And y'all know how we get down in the nation of the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go.